Hey kids, have you had enough of KWJUDAS' stories yet? Well, too bad, because we just had another cancellation, and KWJUDAS has a couple more stories for you. As far as Lehi stuff, I'd have to say the scariest thing in Lehi would have been the hospital. Did you ever go into the old hospital?
I went there when they made it a haunted house.
I heard it did not go very well. Like some real shit happened. I don't know what. But
yeah, I heard so too.
People got hurt. Really? And so it only lasted less than 1 year, if I'm not mistaken.
It was scary.
But yeah, they didn't need to turn that place into a spook alley. I'm sure it was probably scarier before they did that.
Well, like we snuck in there once when we were teenagers.
Yeah, we did a couple times.
And I'm thinking to myself, how stupid were we? Because all the floors were all like rotted and stuff, and that was like.
And the basement was completely full of water.
Yeah.
If it was around the same time that we went in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's so dangerous to go in there. Walking up those stairs. I've had nightmares about that place. Like,
one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me happened in that place.
What happened?
So this was after the Camp Jeramiah incident. There was a girl who was kind of with me when all that scary stuff was going on. Then we kind of went our separate ways for a little bit. I got sent to the boys' ranch.
I don't know about the Camp Jeremiah, so you have to tell me about it.
Yeah, we might get into that. Okay. that is the epicenter as far as like all my spooky stories go.
Oh man!
But to be honest, that's where I saw like the craziest stuff, the weirdest stuff, but the most just scared I've ever been at that moment was still probably this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, okay, let me just tell you how it went. So, me and her, after these incidents, we kind of had a little bit of like a craving, you know what I mean? Like, we kind of wanted more. And so we started going out looking for it. I guess, whatever you want to call it, ghost hunting.
Right.
Just looking for supernatural things and exploring weird, creepy places.
Right.
Like we're talking about anyway.
Yeah.
And like I still like doing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, me too.
So we went into this hospital, and it's incredibly easy to get into. We just walked right into the front door. After walking around it, we're like, oh, maybe we could get in through that window, or oh, maybe we could
Lehi Hospital?
Get in through. Yeah.
Yeah, you just walked right in the front door.
Yeah. Once we of course, that was the last place we checked, but then we just walk up to the door and it's open.
Wow.
So we're just like, all right, fuck it. So the way that the door goes is like there's sort of like a wall immediately in front of you, and it's going to be kind of hard to describe this, especially for anybody that's listening to this.
Yeah.
So the wall kind of it forces you to immediately take a left.
Oh yeah.
And then you go around that wall, and that's where the long hallway leads clear down to the empty elevator shaft, which is just the most dark, foreboding presence of the entire building.
Oh, man.
Like if you know where I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The dark, empty elevator shaft at the end of the hallway.
Oh.
So, all the way down that hallway, there's just room after room after room. And then you turn right once you get down that hallway, and there's a kitchen that's kind of like... So you've got the elevator shaft, and then the kitchen kind of to the right of it. And then there's a staircase that leads out of the kitchen up to the second floor.
Right.
Did you ever go to the second floor?
Yeah, I think that, like, I remember walking up the stairs and stepping on it and it bowing in. As we're stepping, I'm like, oh, we shouldn't be walking up these stairs,
So if you remember, there's actually a mid section that's kind of like this crawl space. Like, we kind of went in that area, and there was still equipment. There was like old wheelchairs and old hospital beds and stuff. Yeah, it was like, it was kind of surprising how much stuff had been left there for God knows how long, and how like nobody has fucked with it.
Right.
So that was kind of creepy. And then we get out of there and we go up to the actual top floor, where there's another hallway that leads back towards the front of the building. And again, just rows of bedrooms on both sides. So we've pretty much got to the point where we've seen every bedroom in the house. You know, we went to this on this side, we went down the hallway, and then we hit every bedroom on the other side on the way back. So now we're perched up at the top of the staircase that leads down into the kitchen, when all of a sudden we hear a clamor downstairs.
Oh, man.
And we're just like, oh, shit. There's somebody down there. And of course, we're not thinking ghosts. We're not thinking supernatural, paranormal. We're thinking like cops.
Cops or groundskeepers or something like that.
Yeah, like somebody's caught us.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, to me, a little more scary.
Yeah, totally. That's frightening. It's terrifying.
A ghost, yeah, it'll go away. You don't have to go to court for the fines that a ghost is going to give you. And plus, I was still living with my parents, and she was still living with her parents. So we don't want to get caught right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's not in your best interest.
So the longer we stay up there, perched at the top of this staircase, the more this clamor continues, and the more you perceptively can tell that whoever's down there, it doesn't sound like they're really looking for somebody. Because if they were, they probably wouldn't be this loud about it. And they probably wouldn't just keep opening drawers in the kitchen and slamming them shut.
That's what it actually sounded like someone's opening cupboards and things.
Yeah. So, like, after a good while of just doors slamming, cupboards slamming, drawers slamming, and most of it's in the kitchen, the room that this staircase leads down into, the only place we can go is this room where just all sorts of shit is fucking flying off the handle.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, the longer we sit there, the more we're just like, dude, that's not normal.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not like somebody looking for us. If we listened to this for a while. If they were trying to find us, they would have found us by now.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was getting to like you'd think, okay, it's good. And then you'd hear a really loud one, like a big loud wham. Oh. And she's like, I think it's the wind. And I'm just like, that is not the fucking wind. She's like, it's the wind. and I'm just like, okay. So she's like, we got to go. We have to do this. And I think she was just saying it was the wind to convince us that we can do this and let's go.
Okay, let's get out of here. I know it's not the wind, but I'm going to say it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whatever it takes to convince yourself, we got to get the fuck out of here somehow. We're not just going to stay here all night.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, we grabbed each other by the hand. We held hands, and we just took a deep breath. And we just charged down the fucking staircase. Didn't even look in the kitchen. We didn't even look around. We didn't want to see what may have been down there. And now I kind of wish that I would have looked around. Probably wouldn't have seen anything, but I don't know. Because we were just like, you know what I mean? Like tunnel vision kind of thing. We immediately take that U-turn because right when you get to the bottom of the steps, the hallway is right around the corner that leads to the front door.
Yeah.
So we just book it down the stairs, turn around that corner, and we hear a as we're going down, like just to our right, one of the bedroom doors creaks shut. So we start running towards the front door, which, if you remember, you can't see because there's that wall that juts out. So you got to go around that wall, and then you get to the front.
Yeah, and you can't see what's around the corner.
So we get to the same thing. We get to that wall, and we hear the front door. And that's when she just grabs me. She's like, it was the wind! And I'm like, that wasn't the fucking... But she grabbed me and ran, and I ran with her. And again, we didn't really bother to look around, but there was nobody out there. And it was not windy. It was not a windy night. And so, of course, in retrospect, back then, we were still kind of more of a religious persuasion.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to just go with the possibility that it was spirits or ghosts or whatever. You know, I feel like when you already believe in like imaginary people and a God and all that, all this imaginary spiritual shit. Yeah. It's obviously a lot easier to entertain paranormal things and just write it off as a ghost or whatever.
It was the devil.
When you look at things from a little more of a skeptical and logical point of view, it's like, okay, sure, I like saying that maybe that house is haunted and maybe I had a genuine run-in with what you would call a spirit or ghost or poltergeist or whatever, some entity not of this physical being.
Right.
However, still now, as a little bit more mature, grown adult, I mean, I don't want to call myself mature, but you know what I mean.
You're not as naive.
I guess, yeah, a little less of the spiritual naivety and that hindrance that it provides. You start thinking of other potential possibilities. Now, the only thing I can really think of besides, okay, yeah, it really was windy. Yeah, bullshit. Wind doesn't just come into the kitchen and just start looking through drawers and slamming them shut for an extended period of time after you've been in that house for quite a while with no wind blowing your drawers open and shut. Yeah, so I'm not even going to try and go down that road.
2 o'clock in the morning in a July summer night, you know.
Yeah, but the best explanation, and this is still not terribly likely, but let's just say somebody was actually fucking with us, and they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know,
they did a great job.
The odds of this are still pretty slim, but, you know, that does get your gears turning in a more logical way. Like, okay, why would they do this? Who would do this? And it's like, well, I guess my first thought would be, I don't know, neighborhood kids. You know, kids who live in that neighborhood who know that people go out ghost hunting, and when they see a car parked outside of that building, they're like, hey, let's go fuck with these guys. And they already know the whole building inside and out, and so it's easy for them to know where we're at, go into the kitchen, slam a few drawers, whatever, get out of the kitchen before we get out of it, you know.
Let's be honest,
shut the fucking door and do that without us seeing them.
Well, let's be honest, though. Like, who would have done that?
At 2 in the morning?
In Lehi, you know, like, because the people who'd go into the hospital and stuff like that were people who were like you and I, who would not do that to somebody else because it'd be terrifying. You know,
but if you had grown up next door to that place and you're still just a mischievous, I don't know, 12, 13-year-old.
I don't think there was anyone who would, I don't know, I guess I could think of some people that would do that, but they didn't live by the hospital though. But I don't know, it could have been that. Like, I'm
just saying, I'm just trying to postulate anything that
you're trying to make this. It wasn't a ghost, Rob. Do not stop talking. I've accepted that with some kid. We know who it is.
And I'm not saying that I deny that it could have been a ghost. Still, of course, that's a funner possibility. Oh yeah, it makes the story much more entertaining.
It's and way more interesting.
And it's still not terribly likely that was just some neighborhood kids messing around trying to pull a prank on us. Yeah. So Artie and I were at that time very, very hard into pursuit of the ghost hunting thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was the one that kind of showed me. Oh no, I think I showed him. He knew about the hospital, but I'm pretty sure the incident with my other friend, when she and I first started ghost hunting, before Artie and I started kind of trying to dabble into that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I took him to the hospital after telling him what happened to her and I. And that's when we started just hanging out there at night. I think I told you about that too.
Yeah.
Like, Artie and I actually started getting comfortable in that.
Oh, you mean like
hospital.
A clubhouse? Yeah.
And even once or twice, like, Tirsa and Tisha and Atisa, the 3 Tias, would hang out there too. And again, it's God knows how late, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And we're just hanging out in an abandoned hospital that I had in the past experienced one of the most terrifying experiences ever. And for some reason, I don't know, looking back, it's just funny that a little while later, we just hang out there now. Nothing changed either. It's not like they fixed the place up or anything. We were breaking and entering every time and just hanging out.
Fucking the basement full of water, the rotten wood, walking up the stairs and breaking in. I can't believe that you guys could just walk inside the hospital. The door was like wide open.
Yeah, we didn't go downstairs though.
Yeah.
Hell no. There's no way you could, even during the day, if that thing was still standing and if the basement was still full of water, nah, hell no.
Well, I drove past the Lehi Hospital spot a couple weeks ago, and I can't believe how small that piece of property is.
It wasn't very big, and the building really wasn't that big either.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't very big at all. But yeah, I still have nightmares about that fucking place. It's a disturbing place.
So did you ever go inside?
Yeah, I went inside. I went inside and walked around, and I was walking up the stairs. I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't be walking on this wood because it was all rotten.
Did you go at night or during the day?
At night.
There you go.
Yeah. I think it was really scary, and it just felt weird. Then they had the haunted house, and that didn't go very well. Because you were saying last time that people got hurt.
But that's just what I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. I just know that it did not last very long.
Yeah.
And I heard that it was because more than one person got hurt.
Well, I think that building just wasn't fit for
Well, even if it wasn't haunted in any way and it wasn't scary, there's no way it was even close to up to code.
Yes, I was gonna say.
And there's no way they fixed it up before they put a spook alley in there.
How did they get permission to do that anyways? Who let them do that?
I don't know. That's really a good question. When it comes to an actual abandoned building,
Yeah.
I would say probably you'd go ask the city first.
Yeah, but who in the city council is like, yeah, that's a great idea. We have this building that's falling apart and it's rotten. Let's let them do a spook alley in there. If they promise to put in some 2x4s and make sure that subfloor doesn't fall through when people go walking through it.
That's why I was extremely surprised when I heard they did it.
I know,
because I've been in there several times and I know what it's like in there. And so when they're like, yeah, they're putting a spook alley in there, it's like, I wouldn't do that and I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Not because of the scary shit I've seen there, but just because of the condition of the building itself.
Yeah, it's
just saying.
It's going to collapse in on itself. I'm surprised it didn't. With all that weight and all those people going in there and walking around.
For all we know, that is what happened. I mean, like I said, we really should look that up. And whenever you do wind up posting these, if we can find some information about it, maybe post a link or some shit in the description.
Yeah, that's a good idea, yeah.
If we can dig up any dirt. I got a lot of different videos that I say that about, and I'm lucky if I can, but I still try.
Yeah, seriously.
I think I told you about when I was trying to explore La France before they bulldozed all that shit just earlier this year. And dude, I didn't even make it inside.
Oh, really?
Didn't I tell you about that?
No.
How right as I start walking down this alleyway between the two buildings that were still standing, the one furthest south had already been destroyed, but there was two big ones just up from it that there was tons of furniture, tons of debris, tons of, a lot of people just left their shit.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a lot of the furniture had been used to barricade the doorways because all the doors had been removed and the windows had been removed. So every door you walk past is just this empty doorway that's kind of sort of blocked off with just random debris and furniture and shit. Maybe to keep squatters from wanting to squat in those rooms. I don't know if that's why they did that.
Well, yeah, I would think
probably so. Because it is right by the homeless shit. It's between the Rio Grande and the homeless shelter. Yeah. You know where that is.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of people who are going to probably want to post up while they can.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about that. I'm not from Salt Lake.
Yeah.
I was just getting done from band practice. I'd never seen these buildings before. And so I was just like, fuck. As I drove past them, I had to go and take a look, you know. So I'm going down the alleyway at the La France. And I probably made it 10 steps down. And it just starts getting real dark. And I notice there's a guy. There's already a guy. and, just like kind of huddled on, I guess it's just kind of this little courtyard they had out there.
Yeah.
Underneath a tree, and I just kind of, we make eye contact, so it's definitely not like he didn't notice me or anything.
Right.
And I just was kind of like, what's up? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, is that where I just turn around? Yeah. No, I just kept walking. And I just kept thinking, should I have done that? I don't know. I'm still walking. Okay, now what do? I can't, I don't know. I felt like I couldn't retake my action.
Right.
For some reason, and I had to at least, I don't know, play it off, act like I had a purpose to be there. And when I obviously did not belong there, and sure, he didn't either, but he definitely knew that, you know what I'm saying?
You weren't part of the regular group of people that were hanging out.
And yeah, I definitely did not feel like I belonged there. And with every step I took, I was just kind of like, do you want to talk about bad vibes? I swear it got darker and colder and quieter with every step you take, to where your footstep makes you think, somebody heard that. You accidentally kick a piece of debris. Somebody definitely heard that. Yeah. And you're just like, man, okay, so what am I doing? Now that I'm here, fucking what am I doing?
Right.
And I'm like, all right, I don't want to go inside. I already made my mind up. I don't want to go inside anymore. And just after walking past that guy within the first couple seconds, kind of ruined my entire courageous attitude. I wasn't expecting that, and luckily he didn't do anything and nothing happened. But of course your mind just starts, you know what I mean? It starts twisting into all the worst possible scenarios that could potentially befall the further you get down this alleyway.
Yeah, it's scary as shit.
And it is. And so I'm thinking, okay, dude, don't be a puss ass. You could at least make it to the end of this alleyway. Let's just see if we can do that, and get your camera out, start filming right now. If you get something cool, if you don't, who cares? Let's just get in and get out now. At first I was like, man, that's 4 or 5 stories. I wonder if I could get all the way to the top story. And then within the first couple of fucking steps, walk past one dude, and I'm like, fuck this. Yeah, and so the more I kept thinking, the more I'm just like, dude, what if he's the gatekeeper? What if he makes a little sparrow noise or some shit, and all of them start coming, and they fucking cut me off, and I can't get out, and just the thought of being cut off and cornered, and maybe there's no way out of the other end of the alleyway. That's when I finally just turned around. I spooked myself too much, you know what I mean? And it wasn't because of ghosts or anything.
Well, it's probably the right decision, though.
I kind of think so, because as I walk past the dude, he stands up and starts following me. And I don't know if he was actually intending on taking a walk at the same moment that I walked past him.
Or if he's just I'll walk you out.
But if I actually talked to him, I was just, it's hey, what's up? And he's like, I don't know. I didn't really say much. I'm just yeah, this is a pretty creepy place. I was just checking it out, Place gives me the heebie-jeebies. And then I just speed walk to my car.
he's like, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and he went the other way, and so like I said, I probably wasn't really in that much danger. A lot of it might have just been me psyching myself out.
Right.
But at the same time, your natural self-defense mechanism kind of kicks in, and it's just dude, I don't like this.
Well, I feel that way walking around my neighborhood sometimes, just go a block that way, and it's fucking homeless central. There's people who go out and just scream out in front of my building all night.
All right, and we're in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
See, this last weekend, I was visiting a sibling in Mount Pleasant. Have you ever been down there?
Yeah.
So
my mom's side of family's all from San Pete.
Oh, word. Okay, so you know the area.
Yeah.
I've never been down. I mean, I've driven past, but
that's a weird place.
It is kind of. I dig those little podunk towns.
I like.
You know what I mean? I mean, if I wasn't trying to do what I do, I would totally dig just living out in one of those shit towns. And they luckily just inherited the property that they're at because they were taking care of her husband's aunt, her Auntie Ruth. Of course, it's Ruth.
Right.
You know, her name's got to be Ruth.
Yeah, that only makes sense.
Aunt Ruth. And she was getting to the point where she couldn't go up the stairs to her room. All the bedrooms are upstairs. And it's a teeny little house, but a fairly large property. And so she had like a little double wide trailer put out there. And so she was just living in the double wide. And she said that they could live in the house if they would kind of take care of her, you know, and make her meals and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Which they agreed to do, and of course only had to do for a matter of years before she passed away in the trailer in their backyard, which I slept in.
Jesus.
It's no big deal. I mean, I didn't have any more fucked up dreams than I always usually do.
Sleeping on this mattress, our grandma died on it.
Aunt.
Or our aunt died
Aunt
on
Ruth.
it. Aunt Ruth died on this mattress, but it's okay. You can sleep on it.
Well, I still slept in the other room. I really was tempted, just for shits, to sleep in Aunt Ruth's bed.
Well, I bet you slept in. If you ever slept in a hotel room, you probably slept in a bed someone has died in.
Yeah, possibly.
It's a good possibility. If there's not any biohazard liquids on it, probably slept on something.
So I'm in between this trailer that Aunt Ruth died in, that I slept in. No scary shit, just kind of creepy in and of itself. And you're in this creepy town, Mount Pleasant. Yeah. And on the other side is another absolutely abandoned house. It's been abandoned for probably, decades. It's a pioneer house that has a door on the top level, but no way to get to that door. Now, I forget why the pioneers did that. It was for some fuck reason. I've even had explained to me before, but I can't remember what it is. I'm just going to say that they, back in the day, the ancient pioneers believed by this day and age, they would have been granted the ability to levitate, along with other celestial endowments.
No.
And they haven't received those endowments yet. And that's why they stopped building houses like that, is they're like, man, it might take a while before we actually get blessed with the ability to levitate, so we should stop building these fucking houses like this.
What? That's crazy.
I'm sure that's inaccurate.
But that's insane. But I wouldn't be wouldn't be surprised if it was accurate. And it's just fucking, because it sounds like something that they would say.
No, there's a real reason behind it why they would used to build the houses with a door at the top floor out going outside.
Yeah.
That had no deck or stairway or balcony or anything going. In fact, actually, I happen to have some urbex footage of the house I was just talking about next to my sister's house in Mount Pleasant. And we're going to go to that now, not just because I have it, but also we need to kill some time. I wasn't really planning on doing this third episode of KWJUDAS myself, just telling my own stories, but, well, we had another cancellation. So I decided why not use the leftovers of the interview I had with Robb Jolley and a couple of urbex videos that I also had laying around that I haven't put out yet, and see if we can concoct a third episode of spooky stories for the kiddies here on our Halloween series. So we're actually going to see if this will work on the Spotify channel too. You can just imagine what it's like if you're listening, or you can tune in to my YouTube channel at Drags Productions on youtube.com and just look up KWJUDAS or Wendell T. Wallaby. And now, Gumption TV proudly presents Urban Explorations with your host, Wendell T. Wallaby. I'm your host, Wendell T. Wallaby. Hello, I am your host, Wendell T. Wallaby, at the beginning of a new series where I take an exclusive look at abandoned buildings, cemeteries, ghost towns, and other such of the like. Tonight, I was simply visiting what we would call kinfolk in a very
small town called Mount Pleasant on a very bright and clear evening, and I couldn't help but notice, just in their backyard, there happens to be an abandoned house. Not sure what the lighting's gonna be like, but I might have to take a look-see. So, as it would turn out, of course, just within this backyard alone, not only do we have an abandoned house on one side, but also this double-wide trailer that is still semi-functional, but apparently their aunt died in this trailer. They live in the front house, and she used to live back here. So, interesting little maps all over the place. Apparently that's probably her wheelchair. Or her electric chair. She did die here after all. Actually, this wasn't the room. Apparently, this was the room. She died in this bed. This might be where I'm spending the night tonight. Not sure exactly how many of the things in this room are still left over from her, but probably not much. I'm guessing by these CDs, Gershwin, Tchaikovsky, definitely not something an old lady would listen to. So many of these artifacts may be more recent, since after the passing. This is where I'll be shitting for the evening. I figure I'll probably best drop one off before we go exploring. I'm Wendell T. Wallaby, temporarily signing out. Here we are at the abandoned building, just in the backyard of my kinfolk's house in Mount Pleasant. They say this is a pioneer house, and that's why the only way upstairs is through this door that's already a story high. The reason they did this is the pioneers had complete lack of foresight when they were building homes. Apparently, legend has it, ancient pioneers thought that by this day and age they would have been granted the ability to levitate and other sorts of privileges of celestial manner that obviously have not come true yet. As you can see, this was the laboratory. Where many experiments were probably conducted. I'm trying to do this as utterly fast as I can, because I'm making a lot of noise. So we're just going to do a quick run through of the house. Since we can't get upstairs, this is what is left of it. Here's the calendar from 2005. I'm assuming probably when this house was last inhabited, which is actually much less recent than I'd expect. You can tell people have been partying in here and drawing all sorts of dicks in balls and such. Fuck me in the arse and such. All your typical fuck all graffiti of dipshits that really don't know what the fuck they're doing here. Not the colour I see. Fuck Washington, I suppose. It appears that, yes, a lot of furniture and all sorts of personal belongings were left behind. And really kind of surprised at. Oh, fuck off. Creep responsibly. Now that is what we're trying to do. Don't want no fucking troubles. And I think, well, that's about the entire house. What with, it's modern of decor and the belongings and furniture that we're seeing. To be honest, I'm kind of a little surprised that they still just have some stupid fucking door suspended out of nowhere. No one thought maybe let's build a staircase. And of course a weed eater in the bathroom. For obvious reasons. I kind of like this little lavatory. It's cute, isn't it? Also, cute little arch. Well, still nothing spooky. But that's not exactly the point of this show. If we get anything by accident, well, we got lucky. Maybe we'll go back and watch. And you never know. But I mostly just like exploring creepy old buildings like this. So, thank you for joining me. I'm Wendell T. Wallaby, signing out. Just doing a quick walk around the outside of the building itself because that's half the fun of it. This is what the place looks like. There's our magic door that no one thought to do anything about over the time that this fucking house has been here. And a little pile of broken wood. There's the front of the house. Alright, folks. Once again, thank you for joining me. Wendell T. Wallaby signing out.
Well, there you have it, folks. As I said, not only am I trying to fill time here, but I also have at least one more Urbex video just kicking around that I haven't released. I was kind of saving them up for this month as we were intending on doing a Halloween-themed KWJUDAS each week of the month of October. It's kind of an unusual coincidence that 3 in a row have all canceled due to unfortunate, 2 of which were deaths. Just kind of weird. And that was kind of what enabled me to do this. It allowed the window of 3 episodes in a row, which is extremely rare, for me to just fill those with these stories of my own, which I don't know how else I would have really gotten them out. I don't know when Robb is planning on releasing them, if he's planning on releasing them, but he has definitely liked what I've done with them so far, and I hope he likes this one. So without further ado, I have another one I shot probably 2 months ago while I was just exploring new terrain, mostly fishing and camping, but there was a lot of abandoned stuff out there towards the Camas, Utah area. And I'm probably going to go back out there because there's so much more to explore. There was one particular building that I have to get inside of. Unfortunately, on my way out, this was during the day. I prefer doing it at night, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't try doing this one at night, because when I went during the day, I noticed on my way there, it looked like there was at least part of a tent. Didn't look like there was anyone there. Thought it might just be debris, but when I came back, there was definitely somebody who was just, I guess, camped out. Appeared to be homeless, and right as I parked my car, pretty close to where he was squatting, I didn't see anybody. He apparently saw me from a little corner store across the road. Now, this is a very unusual area, I think. If you've ever been out to Camas, you might know where I'm talking about. I believe that this is actually in a smaller city called Francis. I know that the cemetery I visited just before that was in Francis, even though in the video clip I'm about to show you, I keep referring to it as Camas because I didn't know that until after I posted some photos of it on my Facebook page. It's kind of outside of town, but there's still this random corner market. Looks like just this sort of outpost. So it has like a western sort of feel to it, and there's nothing else at this intersection except for a really old red brick building. And this guy almost seemed like he was guarding the place. He was right outside the fence, and I happened to find a little opening in the fence right over the ditch, and he was pretty much camping on the ditch, on the fence, right outside of this property. He walked right up to me just as I was pulling up, just as I was about to cross that fence. And I could tell he was coming at me, thinking probably I might be, I don't know, messing with his stuff. And so I didn't know what else to do besides just try and casually talk my way out of the situation. Just, oh, you're staying here, huh? Oh, yep. Okay. You know anything about this place? No. Yeah. Looks pretty interesting, huh? Yep. So I got in my car, took a few pictures, and hope to come back soon. But there's another house that definitely caught my eye on the way out there. And it's just kind of out in the middle of this swamp, surrounded by nothing. There's not even really much of a road that even goes to it. So my second time going out there by myself, I didn't have anybody else to keep me from doing what I wanted and just pulling over and at least taking a quick look. So we're going to go to that one. And again, I'm not looking for ghosts or anything like that, anything paranormal. If I do catch it as a side dish, then there's a bonus. But I'm mostly just too curious when it comes to abandoned houses and cemeteries and stuff like that, which I also did get a little bit of footage of a pretty interesting cemetery right outside of Camas as well. So we'll show you that footage. If anybody does actually catch anything in the background that I failed to have noticed, please leave a comment in the description. Thank you all for watching, and remember to subscribe to this channel for more weirdness. And now,
Gumption TV proudly presents Urban Explorations with your host, Wendell T. Wallaby. I'm your host, Wendell T. Wallaby. Here, we have the exclusive opportunity of catching a glimpse of what is known as a ghost deer in its natural environment, of course, the cemetery. We have two ghost deers. Quite majestic little creatures, aren't they? And this is quite the cemetery as well. There we go. Never quite seen a cemetery like this. I was about to think perhaps some of these graves were not marked, but of course they are. They're just not facing the direction of the road. There's the phantom deer again. Here's one so fucking old, it's actually broken off. 1903, 1826. Got another one. That's about 1895. Phantom deer again. There they are. I'm Wendell T. Wallaby, exploring what I believe is the Camas Cemetery. And this is, it's just unlike most of the cemeteries I've come across. Look how close these three graves are to each other. Obviously related. I wonder if this is supposed to be any kind of a head marker of a sort. Farthest corners. I've got these ones over here. They've even got their own little shrubberies. Something's not even that old. Phantom deer. Oh, there's some delicate here. Well, that's the Camas Cemetery for you. I'm Wendell T. Wallaby, and it seems like my belt has come undone, so I've got to pull up my pants. Signing out. And now, folks, the adventure gets a little more interesting. About a block away from where we just started, I find this abandoned house. I found a way in, and then a homeless fellow came up, approached my car, and I decided I'd best not go in yet. Maybe come back in a different time. But the structure definitely has my interest. And the homeless fellow was also rather unusual. why he's just picked this spot to squat. I noticed his tent park just set up on the way here or just last night. So I guess he's staying here. We're just in the middle of Camas. Now, speaking of structures that have caught my fucking eye, take a look at this little beauty. I'm Wendelty Wallaby exploring this little house out in the middle of nowhere. Just couldn't help myself. There's no signs, no trespassing signs or anything. I didn't have to break in or jump any fences. Just follow this little trail. So, let's have a look-see, shall we? Of course, it's gonna be covered in really crappy graffiti. Oh, not bad, not bad. There's what's left of the ceiling. A little leery of falling through the floor, but seems to be stable. More ceiling. Small little back room. Another little structure in the backyard. There's the back room. Beauty. So I just love little structures like this, little abandoned houses. Just imagining what life was like for the people that lived here, or just how fucking long ago that was. There's a floor you don't want to walk on. I imagine this is probably the kitchen. Let's see if we can manage this. I probably shouldn't be doing this in my physical condition, but I did it anyway. As I said, I couldn't fucking help myself. Ever since I first saw this place, I just had to check it out. Nothing particularly creepy or scary or weird, but of course this is broad daylight. I don't know if I would really want to attempt this during the night time, but beautiful scenery, as you can see. Whoever did live here definitely had quite the setup. Little shed been completely reduced to rubble. And even another one also reduced to rubble. Nothing much to see here. Well, that was a quick walk around. Really all I was looking for. Thank you once again for joining me on another exciting adventure with Wendell T. Wallaby signing out.
We'd like to thank you for joining us on yet another spooky edition of KWJUDAS on Free Radio Provo. We now turn you back to our regular Free Radio programming.